Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. Now find yourself a seat at their table.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast with PJ and Mike. I'm PJ.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight we are recording an episode on a very special day.
Yes.
Today we are recording a review of a brand new movie of 2025's Frankenstein, and we're recording on my birthday.
Yes. So happy birthday, PJ.
Thank you. Thank you.
And for folks at home, PJ and I have been friends we did the calculations about 32 years, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I was saying before when we were talking, outside of people in my family, I don't think I know anybody as long as I know you, and I think that is a crazy statistic, but I think it's an awesome one, and it's a testament to our long-standing friendship and how rock solid it is.
Yes, totally, totally.
32 years is really something.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know people that long.
Yes,
they just don't. You know someone, and it's like they disappear or whatever. They're a moment in time. I always say that before we get into the episode. You know people for a brief moment in time. You work with somebody, you know them while you're in that department or in that company, or you go to school with someone and you know them for a couple of grades when you have the same lunch period, and then you move on. And it's like this shifting timeline where new people come in and out. So to know someone for that amount of time, that it's not a blood relative, it's not a spouse, right? It's just a person that came into your life and they didn't leave. I think it's very special. I really do.
Yeah. And the great part about it is, folks, that PJ and I never fight unless it's on the podcast.
We really don't.
But other than that, we get along all the time.
I don't think we've ever had an argument in real life unless the microphones are on. We really haven't.
No, yes.
It's really something.
Exactly. So, but folks, today we're going to talk about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which is unbelievable, PJ. You think about it, there's so many versions, and obviously the definitive version is the one from 1931 by James Whale. That's the Boris Karloff. That's the Universal Monster version. I think everyone knows.
It's my favorite version. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool. And there's been countless versions. There's one with
so many.
One with De Niro by Kenneth Branagh. That guy also directed, I think, Thor and a couple other. He usually gets a lot of these Shakespearean type movies to direct. He's okay director.
He's good at those. I think that's that guy's niche. He does a good job at it. Yep. I don't think any of those movies are actually bad or unwatchable.
No,
I don't know if I'd say there's been a bad movie with Frankenstein.
Actually, no, there is, PJ. It's called.
Is there?
It's called Victor Frankenstein, and it's actually he plays Igor. Is Daniel Radcliffe. I forgot.
Really, I've never seen it.
It's horrible. I saw it in theaters, man. It came out maybe like 2010, somewhere around there.
Really
horrible. I saw
Harry Potter. Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, which is crazy because Kenneth Branagh, he's in Harry Potter. I think he's in the second one. I can't think of the guy's name. He's the one who does all the charms. I think Secrets. So it's that same universe, I guess, in terms of actors. But not a good movie.
I have not seen that one.
But
of course, there's Young Frankenstein, which is really just fantastic.
Yeah. So but yes, folks at home, it's based off the 1818 novel by Mary Shelley. And look, it's like an Edgar Allan Poe. It's one of those stories that's going to be around forever.
Forever.
It's
timeless.
Exactly. It's a great story. The one from 1931 with Karloff. That's not totally true to the book.
Really is not.
He's not green going. It's something like that. He's actually very intelligent in the book.
You're very well spoken. That's the whole plot of the book, really.
Yep. So,
if I remember correctly, it has been a very long time. Frankenstein narrates the book. Frankenstein's monster. He's the narrator of the book.
Yeah. And I'm going by memory too, man. Like I think we read that book in the 10th grade, and
I guess it's been a minute.
Could have done like some Wikipedia for this episode, but I'm just going by my memory here. And I think we're talking about some of the similarities from the book. I think from what I understand, and I recall, this movie is very close to the book with a lot of things. Some obviously,
I think it is. Yeah, some liberties, some changes for sure. Yeah. But I do think this is probably the closest to the book.
Yeah.
The other thing that that had me excited going into the movie, we'll just touch on this real quick, is the design was supposedly based on Bernie Wrightson. I don't know if you're familiar with Bernie Wrightson.
No.
He's an illustrator, a comic book illustrator, a horror illustrator, co-created Swamp Thing, actually, Bernie Wrightson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he did, I don't know if it was the first, but probably the most famous visual storytelling in terms of taking the book and turning it into something graphic. And a lot of what people see online when they look at Frankenstein imagery is Bernie Wrightson's. And I went into this with the idea that this was going to look fantastic because I was told it's based on Bernie
Mm.
Wrightson's designs. And we'll probably talk about this as we get through the movie, but I felt like it really was not as close to that as I wanted, which was a bit of a letdown. Not that it looked bad in the movie, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And it took me out of the moment a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, we just kind of get look. I mean, folks,
Yep.
I think most people know the story of Frankenstein, but just to give you some how this movie goes, basically Oscar Isaac, which I think is a great actor. Basically, it starts off a lot of backstory, like he's very close with his mom. His father was very just abusive and really wanted him to study medicine. And God forbid he didn't know an answer. It's like when he pop quizzed him, he would hit him.
You get abused.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this movie deals with a lot of like generational trauma and
it sure does.
all those different things. So his mom dies giving childbirth. He has a younger brother, and from then he has like a vision that he wants to conquer death, and he just becomes a man obsessed.
Yep.
And then he gets the body parts. He meets Christoph Waltz. I mean, whenever you see that guy,
What a fantastic actor that guy is.
that guy, he's one of those guys. He makes acting look easy.
It's like you don't even know he's acting. This guy,
Yes,
you just think he's the character.
Exactly, and he just comes
really
in there.
Something special.
Yep. Just
give this guy
elevates it.
awards.
Yep. And I think all the acting in this movie is fantastic. there's no one who goes like everyone's firing all pistons. Everyone's doing really good. Anyway, Christoph Waltz, his character, I can't remember his name. He basically he knows what Frankenstein's
the build. Right.
Yeah, exactly. He does it when it comes time. And actually, before he gets the creature comes to life, he meets Dr. Frankenstein's brother, William. Is about to get married. I can't remember her name. Oh, Elizabeth. Yep. Her name is the actress's name is Mia Goth. Perfect last name.
Really? Sure.
With the gothic vibe. But anyway, he kind of basically falls in love with her. He kind of starts getting feelings for her. And when it comes time to, put up the lightning rod to get things going, Christoph Waltz says yo, dude, remember that? He basically cuts a deal with him. The deal was he's basically dying of syphilis. And he's like, I need you to put my brain in this body, and Dr. Frankenstein, yo, bro, your brain is contaminated.
Your brain is mashed potatoes at this point.
Exactly. I can't do that. No way. I wouldn't do that. So things go sideways.
So I have a question about that since you brought it up now. Before I forget, and maybe spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna do some spoilers, folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he builds Frankenstein's monster. He builds the monster, and he has a brain in the monster. But that brain is not. It's blank. It's like a clean slate, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, from what when I recall, I just saw less than a week ago. I think he just patched it from. I think they say at one point he took the best of brains that were healthy, some that weren't damaged. They got body parts from war, or getting the guillotine, and he took the ones that looked the healthiest.
If he had taken Christoph Waltz's brain and put it in this monster, would it not just be a blank slate? You know what I mean? Because because they made it seem that if you put my brain in this body, I can live in this new unaffected body.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't really work, right? In the way the movie is laid out, he would have just been a fresh zombie brain.
Yeah. I think what Dr. Frankenstein was saying, that your brain is contaminated with the syphilis. It's diseased. I think he was harvesting piece by piece. He can get the healthiest parts that he could. So yeah, it was a blank slate. And I think there's one part of it where I think the monster starts to get some type of recall some kind of dreams, and I think, but basically, folks, kind of just like the book, he comes alive, and immediately Victor rejects him, wishes he was more intelligent.
Right.
You can only say his name. He just says
Victor.
Right. And then Elizabeth and his younger brother come to visit, yo, where's I think it's his uncle, right? Her uncle.
It's her uncle. It's Elizabeth's uncle.
Christoph Waltz's uncle is the uncle, and they're like, where is this guy? Little do we know, spoiler alert, he's dead. Christoph Waltz, not from the monster, the creature. Watch the movie. I want
not really from anybody. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spoil
certain...
every last bit, but it wasn't really anyone's fault, I don't think, where you would blame it on either one of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, she becomes friends with the creature. The creature can say her name, and then Dr. Frankenstein basically he lies to your brother, says oh, that thing was a maniac, and he was kicking everyone's ass. I gotta destroy this place. So he goes he takes his brother's word for it. He's like, yeah, man, we gotta get out of here. He doesn't tell his wife Elizabeth, so they cut loose, and he blows this place up to smithereens.
He really does.
Blows it up. And then the creature escapes,
which becomes, for me, later on when we get to it, a bit of a plot. You know where I'm going with this. We'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when he says blown this place to smithereens, I mean, the Death Star didn't blow up as much as this.
Yeah. the creature survives. Kind of like in the book, he finds like shelter. He hides basically like in the basement. He watches his family, learns how to speak through them, blah, blah, blah. There's a blind man. And as the rest of the family goes out for hunting for the winter, they go somewhere else. He stays behind.
He befriends this old man, this old blind man.
And he teaches him how to read and speak well and blah, blah, blah. At that point, the creature goes back to the castle, Frankenstein's castle, to find his origin.
Right.
And then I guess we'll spoil it now, which I think was real. I was like, even mine, like, come on. It's my biggest negative of the film is like basically like this blueprints of the monster. And I'm like,
somehow don't get destroyed.
They don't get destroyed. The whole thing is just when we say this place explodes, I mean, this thing, like, it's an inferno. I don't know how. And this, and all the
cans everywhere.
Right, and the and all the paperwork for this. It was right unharmed. It was right next to the epicenter of the fire. But the point of the
he
point of
go
origin
back the next day either.
He goes like back months.
You're led to believe this is months and months of time later, where you're like, there was no wind,
right?
These things
or rain,
blow up, or rain, or when it blows up, isn't it snowing? Like nothing gets wet. I don't know the whole thing. That to me, I'm like,
that part is weak.
Better.
Yeah. I agree. Which is crazy because this whole movie has great. This movie's 2.5 hours, folks. For me, it flew. I did not feel like 2.5 hours.
I felt every minute of those 2.5 hours.
Well, I think you were looking. Well, we'll get into that. I think you were really more looking for more action. But for me, and my wife, she really enjoyed it. My wife, I didn't originally want to watch it. I says, this is getting good reviews. I think you might enjoy this, and she really liked it. But yeah, that part I was like, kind of rolled my eyes. Like you couldn't just like maybe one point in the movie he puts the paperwork in his safe or
something,
or like at one point because. And more spoiler, like he at one point, Dr. Frankenstein feels kind of sorry because he basically chained the creature inside while he's blowing this place up, lighting the fire. He goes back to save him, and when he rushes back in, he's like, "Whoa!" He gets blown back and he breaks his leg. But he's wearing like almost like a trench coaty kind of thing. Like too bad he just couldn't put the
papers in there.
I would have believed that, and this way, when they pick him up to his brother comes back to see what happened with the castle.
There is one part. Since you're that I really loved, and I don't know why, it just really stuck with me when he does go back to potentially save this monster, and he's talking to the monster at one point, and he's like, "Say one other word, give me a reason to save you."
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was really a good scene when he was just like, "Say one other word, say anything else."
Yep.
And give me a reason to save you.
Yep.
And then what happens after that is he does say a word. I don't want to spoil
anything. Yeah.
And it almost makes it worth. That was a really well done scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then once he finds where he is, the creature, at this point he wants to find Frankenstein.
Oh, he finds the address on the one envelope.
Oh yeah. I mean I know, I agree.
Really,
I agree. Yeah.
Like
that's the only part of the movie you kind of roll your eyes at, But anyway, very much like the book, the monster in this is basically, and much like the book, he's basically invincible. Like he cannot die.
Yes.
Like he's in. You can shoot him. He's kind of like Wolverine. So
he just regenerates.
Yeah.
But they don't really explain how that works. And in the book, and it's been so long, I thought in the book he can die, and that's how it ended, with him just like waiting to die, sort of a thing.
Yeah. I think in the original, the way if I recall, I think he actually dies by fire, where like I think Dr. Frankenstein dies, and then he lights himself. He just lights himself on fire too. Because he dies naturally, trying to chase him, to hunt him down, to make him a wife. So anyway, the creature himself, he's just called the creature. He never gets a name, doesn't get a nickname. He just is the creature.
Just a creature. Yeah.
So
which is how it should be.
Yeah. So he's running around. Yeah, he's running around. Like we're not gonna talk about every scene in the movie here, but just he basically tells Victor, like, "Yo, you gotta make me a wife, man. Like I'm basically immortal. Like I can't be living like this. I'm too lonely. He's intelligent.
Right, I can't be alone forever.
Yeah, I can't be doing this, And then Victor, of course, it becomes that whole dynamic. Like, what do you want to be able to procreate next, and that whole thing. And then towards the end of the film, which is totally different from all the other versions, where he's always on the run, almost like the Incredible Hulk kind of thing, or Frankenstein dies, they reconcile, some reconciliation, they make amends. And
in the final minutes. Yeah.
Very much of a father-son kind of moment, which was pretty good. Look, I'm not going to lie, I really like that. I thought it was a nice, I knew I could just tell by the movie way it was going. It was going to end some kind of like, I don't know, because it doesn't really end on a positive note either. Because the monster,
No, not at all.
yeah, he still has to live forever,
Forever.
tortured. That reconciliation was really beautiful. I gotta say, it was really great. So that's basically, like I said, this is the book of Frankenstein, folks. We're not really, I mean, some of these are spoilers, obviously, but if you know the book and the story, not so many
I mean,
total surprises.
There's only so many different things you could do in the
Yes, but
Frankenstein books
the biggest
or movie.
right, the biggest thing is the ending that they reconcile Dr. Frankenstein and the creature, which is more or less basically his son. They make amends. They make peace. So, PJ, before I get to, I know PJ and I are different specters of this. One of us liked it a lot, the other one not so much. So for me, I think we both can agree directing is really great with this. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Del Toro is, he's a very confident director. All of his movies have like that vibe, like between Hellboy, Blade,
even his Pinocchio.
I haven't seen that. I want to see that. Shape of Water. It just has that like gothic, it's a really well-made movie,
Absolutely, and he really does a good job of like taking these creatures or monsters or whatever you want to call them just they're not humans when he does these sort of things, and humanizes them in a way where they're more human than he does a really good job of finding that balance between monster and human and giving them a soul and life and bringing them to life. I think Del Toro is a fantastic director.
Yeah.
One of the best out there for sure.
Yeah.
I will always see his movies like that, even if it's a movie, and I don't love this Frankenstein movie. I don't hate it. It's not like I'm going to watch this and then say, well, I'm not watching his next one. I will always see what his next movie is.
Yeah. They're just always good. They're solid. And you take a movie like this that's been done countless times. Hey, he made it fresh, like I said, for me, not 1 minute of it was a wasted dialogue. It's a tightly written movie. Like I said, all the acting's great around. Oscar Isaac, awesome in it. Mia Goth, the girl who plays Elizabeth, awesome. Christoph Waltz, I mean, he's the master. The guy who plays the creature, was it Jacob
Elordi,
Yep.
I think his name is.
Jake? I don't know where he's from. That guy.
He is from Euphoria. Actually, he plays one of the.
Okay.
He plays one of the guys in Euphoria. I forget if I think he's
Okay.
the main dude in that TV show.
Yeah, I liked him. Originally, Andrew Garfield was
Andrew Garfield.
Isn't unbelievable. I think Andrew Garfield is a very good actor, but I'm glad they gave it to this guy. This guy just seemed more of a natural fit. The way he emoted, even physically, a lot of the physical emotion. Most communication is nonverbal, so seeing him emote like that was really great too. Just the way he bobbed his head, that sense of like kind of like, like just getting rejected and just like, I have to do this again, or like, I'm alive still. God damn it. He's kind of like wishing for death and he can't get it. Hey, there's some action scenes. I call it action. I'm sure it's an action. I'll just call it that. After the action scene, the gore is good. Especially when he's like harvesting, sewing up the body. I was like, ugh. But
my favorite scene in the movie is, I guess it's in the beginning of the movie. He is presenting his idea. I don't know if he's in college or wherever he is.
Yeah, that part's awesome.
He's presenting like, I can bring life back. I can defeat death. And they're telling him like, only God can create and destroy life. And maybe God's wrong and maybe we can. He does this whole thing. And he has this presentation with I don't know if it's just a corpse or whatever, or if it was something he put together, and he reanimates this corpse in front of this group of people to show him that he's not crazy and he can defeat death.
Yeah.
And it's such a good scene. That whole thing is acted really well. When that thing comes to life for that first time, I jumped. It got me.
Yeah.
I thought it
was
me
done
too. Really well.
Yeah.
That was really done well. I think a lot of this was practical effects from what I understand too, because I know he's big on practical effects.
Yeah, and it's funny because there is CGI in this film, and the times he does use it, I'm like, it's not done well, and I'm like, why would you use it? Because the part is like that red angel of death or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm surprised he didn't do like a Pan's Labyrinth and just have someone, just dressed up very weird and do some kind of weird transition from like a regular statue.
Those scenes were like,
I didn't like that. That was kind of jarring. I'm like, and there's like these wild wolves that come in and like terrorize.
That also looked really, really. I thought it looked really bad. Those wolves.
Yeah. It didn't take me out of the film. Like, oh my god.
No, it doesn't take you out of the film.
I'm just surprised.
But when everything else around you is so practical and real, it's jarring to see this like not look seamless.
Exactly.
It's like when you watch a Spider-Man movie and it's really him, and then he has to flip, and you're like, "That's not a human. That's a cartoon."
Yeah.
And then you could just tell it looks like unnatural in that moment. That's how I felt about those dogs.
Yes, I agree with that. But for me, like I said, just going back to the positives, I say good action, good gore. Not the gore like in a Saw kind of film, not like that, but just kind of like that grotesque, like body parts kind of stuff.
Very real looking. They did a good job.
Yeah. Like I said, the heart of the story is really like that, like that parenthood. People calling it that failed parenthood, but
Right.
generational trauma. I think a really good thing I always liked about Frankenstein too is like obsession. This obsession. I finally reached my goal. Times that happens to a lot of folks where they reach that and they're like, I thought I was going to find happiness. Like, oh, maybe a musician. I want to make,
Right.
they finally get to that thing. And then all of a sudden they're like, I still feel very empty.
Still empty.
And I think that's a feeling that, all us at some kind of thing, everything's going to solve my problems. If I get my degree, if I get married, I buy my house, I get my dream car, somehow it's going to fulfill that thing that's I'm missing in my life. And it's not like that.
And
I think this movie and this in general, that book really does a great job with that. Trying to compensation we use through obsession,
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you just said. And I don't want to give the impression that I hate the movie because I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. For me, the negatives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the stuff with Elizabeth, I think she's a very good actor. This I forget her name, Goth.
Mia Goth. Yep.
I think she was a very good actress and very believable in the role. I felt like they did her a disservice because I felt like there was no growth to that character. You meet her and you don't know anything about her. And then for her to be so involved and to care so much about this monster, this creature, I was like, they give you no reason for her to like obsess over this creature. Why she doesn't come across as some humanitarian. You don't get to understand any of this.
Yeah.
And then the creature's about to die and she wants to save this thing and you're treating this creature badly. And look, I think people are good people and you don't want to see people get tortured. I get that. I felt like there was no real motivation for her to care that much about the character and about this creature. And I'm watching it and I'm like, for me, I'm like, why does this bitch care so much about this? I know what's happening here. What am
you make a great point, but I think the part where they try to fill that in was remember she first meets Oscar and they're at the dinner table just to make life easy. I think they allude to something where she's some kind of like maybe it's something quasi political. I can't remember exactly.
I got the impression she was some sort of artist or something is what I had got out of it. I could be wrong, but I didn't get anything that she is this kind of humanitarian person that would have such strong feelings about this creature when she realized it exists.
PJ, who knows? Like that's something that could have been the cutting room floor. Maybe she had like she can't get pregnant. Maybe she like that.
Right.
But who knows? It's a 2.5 hour movie. They should have made some. I agree with that. No, for sure. I don't think this movie is completely perfect here.
No.
But but I agree with
there were certain things that really stuck out to me. Like, why did she get? And then there was like a brief moment where I'm like, she's gonna fuck this monster.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna. I felt the same way because this is the same guy who made Shape of Water. If you saw that, right?
Exactly.
Right. She speaks to the creature of the Black Lagoon. She ends up having sex with that monster.
And I'm like, that's gonna happen right now. We're gonna see something that I didn't expect. And spoilers, that doesn't happen. Right. But it felt very close, like it was about to. And I'm like, at that part, I'm like staring through, like, is this gonna happen? Are we gonna see this?
Well, there is some elements of like Beauty and the Beast type stuff, right? Because towards the end, she she dies, basically tells the creature that she was like in love with, but she's like almost in love with everybody. She's in love with her actual husband. She's flirting with Victor, and then she takes it back. So even she's
a very inconsistently written character, I felt.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I didn't love the way that she dies in this.
Really?
That's not the way she dies in the book, which is fine. Things don't have to be exactly as the book. The idea, I don't know. I felt like Victor trying to shoot spoilers. He goes to shoot the monster and she jumps in front and winds up getting shot. I felt like
I agree with that.
I almost feel like it should have been the creature killing her, not on purpose. I didn't feel like there was any weight at that point. The way they filmed it.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you. We're on the same page. Like I said, this didn't ruin the movie for me, but for me, what I thought was going to happen was because I know in the book. If I recall, I think the monster kills his brother to get Victor. I'm going to start killing everyone I love. So, but in the movie, the monster basically pushes. Well, in the fit of rage after Elizabeth dies, he throws William and he kills him. But I thought originally when he takes the gun out, right, he's going to go shoot the creature. She's going to try to step in, right, to block it. But then really William protects her, right, and he dies from that gun. The creature is going to almost be like, I'm going to try to protect her now. And then
and in turn, she winds up,
and he kills her on purpose to get because he wants, he knows that the creature has the hots for her. So maybe I thought that was he's gonna kill her,
I felt like that death didn't. I mean, like it was just there, and I felt like I got nothing out of it. I
Yeah.
feel like we didn't spend enough time with Elizabeth for it to feel important enough that she got killed. She's in the movie. I mean, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes. She is a very small part. You
Yeah.
don't see her all that often, so there's no real emotional connection to it. And the other thing that I did not enjoy about this movie. As great as Oscar Isaac is, he's a fan. I think he's a great actor. I really do think he's one of the best out there right now, and he should get more roles. And this proves that he can handle really heavy roles.
Yeah. Mhm.
I felt like I want my Victor Frankenstein to be a little bit more of a mad scientist, and I know why they didn't lean that route. Purposely, they didn't lean in that direction, but I think there needs to be a little bit of that madness in there, and I didn't feel that. I understand what his motivation was. His mother died and it impacted him. He wants to beat death because of that, but I didn't get mad scientist vibes out of him really. There was a few scenes where I did, but for the most part I didn't, and I didn't
I
enjoy that aspect of
Yeah,
it.
I know what you mean. That I think for the way I took this interpretation, this is a man whose his obsession is different. Like, where like I think the ones like the more classic ones, like from
Mhm.
1931, he just really wants to achieve, bring something dead back to life. Where I think that was
Right.
Victor's goal, but at the same time, it's really him coping with the past. Because at one
Right. Yep.
point, right, he gets distracted and he's like he finds something more meaningful than his mission when he meets
Mhm.
Elizabeth. Right. So I can kind of understand why he wasn't completely mad, and and he's the type of guy who didn't have, he was trying to find purpose, so all of a sudden he
Right.
met this chick that his brother's gonna marry, and it's knocked him through a loop. Then he can't have her, right? And then he makes his wish come true. He makes something come back, and it's not what he wanted. It's not fulfilling what he almost kind of says that he wished he failed, so he has something still to pursue. So I know what you mean. Like I know what you mean, looking for that mad scientist, but for this, I was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like for the movie that they made, that's not the movie
I
they
think it's
need.
really more
Yeah.
of the writing, because I don't think
Yeah.
he's only acting or reacting to what he's.
Well, of course, what they gave him to do. Absolutely. I don't blame him at all. And I think the role that he played, I think he played it really well. It's not for me. I didn't like the choice that they went with in that. I also, you'll probably disagree with this, but when I watch a movie, right,
Mhm.
any movie, I have a problem when the movie goes out of its way to tell me how good it is of a movie. And I felt that when I'm watching this, I'm like, I get it. You're making a really artsy Frankenstein movie here. I get it. I get it. But I don't want to be told by watching this movie. It feels pretentious. It just does. And I feel that way about a lot of movies that people generally love. I've said it the same way about the Nolan movies. But if you think about a movie like, I'm just going to pick like an old classic, a movie like Rocky.
Mhm.
Rocky is just a movie that gets made. And it turns out to be one of the best movies of all time, right?
Mhm.
It wins awards. It's critically acclaimed. Sylvester Stallone, when he makes that movie, and I know they're not an apples to apples comparison because it's not the same kind
Yeah.
of movie, but just they're both dramas, right? He makes a movie that feels personal and everyone can relate to it. And I don't think there's a person out there who doesn't like Rocky 1, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't set out to give you a movie that tells you how great Rocky 1 is. He just made a movie. When I watch this movie, it has this air of like, I'm making something bigger and better than you've seen before. I'm making this elaborate art piece. I'm making art. And I find that takes me out of the movie. It has like, I don't know if I want to call it a film or if I want to call it a filter. When you're watching this movie, that gives it like this. I'm like, come on,
I
like just it doesn't have to feel this artsy for it to be good. Just make a good movie.
Right. I don't get that vibe from like from Del Toro or even Christopher Nolan. And
Oh,
I
I get
think
it the most from
so,
Christopher Nolan, and I don't usually get it from
so,
Del Toro. So I don't know if that
so
was
because
his decision
I
to make it feel that way or
yeah,
not.
I
But
think I think these guys. I think also a movie that came out in what, like seven, right? 78, somewhere that
Mhm.
Rocky came out. There's so much more education with film. Like everything back then was like everything was new, so they were a developing style. So these guys are a lot of it. They're just learning from their heroes growing up, So I think that's why they might come off like the way that's just directed is just. And look, I think things that are really good look easy, and it comes off kind of there's a snobbery to it. I think directors who do come off very like the film is the shit. And look, some of these are my favorite. Tarantino comes off like that.
Mhm.
Kubrick, I mean, the man's dead. Spike Lee. I adore the Coen's brothers. They come off like that. Paul Thomas Anderson is probably for me, the biggest
Yeah.
snob of his
Yep.
films. And I think one of the more newer cats, I think he's grown a really big head, is James Gunn. Like everything he puts out now, he thinks he's like, top notch.
But I don't get that feeling from his movies, and even the ones I didn't necessarily love. Like I've been very vocal about not loving the Guardians movies, but I don't get that vibe from him.
No,
but then you
PJ, I think all the Guardians movies and Suicide Squad have that air that you're talking about for sure.
See, I don't feel that way with his movies because they have a sense of fun to them, and they have a sense of.
You can still. So does Tarantino's have. They're all fun, and there is a sense of, but I don't get that vibe from this movie at all.
I totally get this vibe from that. Like, and another director who I think is probably the best director of a generation, if not of all time, or up there, is a guy like Steven Spielberg. None of his movies feel that way to me. None of his movies feel that way.
Well, yeah. Here's another thing. All those guys we just talked about, guys like Tarantino, these guys all have a distinct style. I put Spielberg and I put like someone like Robert Zemeckis. They're like chameleons. They don't really have like a niche. They have a crazy kind of catalog. Tarantino, he just makes his own shit. You have the Coen brothers. They have their own niche.
Right.
Usually it's murder. They have their musicals, offbeat kind of humor. Big Lebowski. I mean, look, the Big Lebowski is a huge, one that displays that. Christopher Nolan, if you want to put him in that category, I'll give you that one. Like he's a writer. He's another one, writer, director. So they have all their niches. Someone like a Spielberg, a Zemeckis, a James Mangold. These guys do all different types of stories. Look, I'll even say this. Even Scorsese, he does a lot of gangster stuff, but he's done more eclectic things.
He's done a lot of stuff that isn't gangster related
so
too.
I think that's what happens is it's like look, Del Toro, like I just said, just think about some of his back catalog. Mimic, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy. These are Pacific Rim, Shape of Water, Pinocchio. These are all in that same like realm.
Yeah.
So I think
Shape of Water also has that same sort of feeling that I'm describing.
They mastered that type of vibe. You know what I mean? That's their niche. Where guys like Spielberg, but I don't repeat myself here, but they don't come off like that because every movie they have done has been completely different, especially Zemeckis and Spielberg. I mean, their catalogs are insane. They don't make any sense. It's like one. I mean, they have science fiction.
I just think it shows how good they are, right? That they could do everything.
Yeah, exactly. All these other guys, and someone could say Kubrick has different styles, but his are all psychological based. I mean,
absolutely
deep psychological. So, but I did not get that vibe. I get that vibe more from Shape of Water, not this one, because this is Frankenstein. You already saw the story a zillion times, so I don't really think he did anything. I don't find that when we have like a zip to it. I think it just, you can almost see it like a play. I almost saw it like a play.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it as a play. Yeah,
I mean, everyone knows Frankenstein, so I didn't really, I don't think what else can you do? You had the lab sign, the da-da-da. I mean, like. So it was so predictable. I don't think you could even, where it's going to go besides that end.
Of course. Well, absolutely. And again, it's not to say I disliked the movie or didn't find positives in it. I don't think it was a bad movie at all by any stretch. I just, when I'm watching that kind of movie and I start to feel that vibe, I start to I roll my eyes a little bit and I'm like, I don't know, here we go. Tell me how great you are. I get those feelings the most when Elizabeth is on screen. I found that.
I don't agree with that because I agree with that when I get that more when he shows the monster. Those scenes, like especially when he's like running around now outside the castle. Not I get that when he's not in there, not with the chick. But
see, I felt it more with her. I think Oscar Isaac did the best he could with what he was given, and a lot of what he was given was great, and a lot of what he was given wasn't for me. I mean, I don't know. As I'm watching the movie, sometimes I stopped a few times and I was like, I get it. You're making a really good movie. I get it. You don't have to tell me you're making a really good movie.
Yep.
Just make the really good movie. And I felt that a lot. And you bring up a great point, though, when you compare it to someone like a Zemeckis or like a Spielberg. They are not driven in one direction for all their movies, so they all feel different.
Yeah.
And maybe, Del Toro knows he's the best that he is at what he does, right? And he is.
Yeah.
He is, for sure he is the best at these monster kind of movies. And maybe he's starting to know it, and so he can have that air about him. I just found it noticeable.
I think with all those directors we just talked about, though, they're all really good at what they do, though.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it just becomes some like second nature to them. So I don't think they're trying to be. I think maybe at a press conference, like I said, like someone like a Tarantino or Spike Lee could be very outspoken like that. But the rest, I think, are just really good at what they do.
For sure, yeah.
But PJ, here's the question, though. Here's the main question.
Okay.
Do you recommend Frankenstein?
Do I recommend it? I would say this. It's on Netflix. If you're already paying for Netflix, first of all, there's no reason not to watch it. You're already
Mhm.
paying for the service and it's there and it's a perfectly acceptable movie. If you like Frankenstein, sure, give it a watch. Absolutely recommend it.
Mhm.
If you're looking for a horror movie, I wouldn't call this a horror
Yeah, no,
version of
not at all.
Frankenstein at all.
Yep.
So if you're going into the idea this is going to be a universal horror-esque movie, it's not. But I think it's certainly watchable and it's worth watching. So yeah, definitely give it a shot. If you didn't have Netflix, would I say subscribe to Netflix to watch this movie? I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't
If you
say
already
that. Yeah,
have,
yeah.
but if you already have Netflix, absolutely watch it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And look, if you're a fan of the Universal horror films, you gotta watch this. I definitely, for me, I watched it with my wife. She really enjoyed it. So I think even not to be sexist, but I think this might sometimes people think of Frankenstein, think it's be more of a like a guy's kind of thing. But I think it's I think it's a movie that anyone could really enjoy. If you have a kid who's like very into like I want to get into filmmaking or Frankenstein, this might be the movie to. It's hard to if you're if you want to get into more monster films. I think maybe getting to 1931 could be kind of hard now for a kid. It's black and white. It's slow. It's kind of it's product of its time. But maybe this can kind of put your feet into motion. Like, oh, okay, and then
I don't even know if I'd consider this a monster
and
movie.
then work your way back, kind of thing. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
it has like there is something Shakespearean about it too. You know what I mean?
there really is.
That's why I think women would like it too because it has that kind of that vibe, kind of thing.
I will say this. It is a one and done for me. It's not something
you're
I'm
not gonna revisit. No.
You're not revisiting.
Well, yeah, I don't have no desire to revisit Shape of Water. Now I kind of want to because I'm like I want to see that sex scene again, maybe. But I do love rewatching Pan's Labyrinth. That's his best film. I mean, that movie is awesome.
I agree.
That movie I can watch the movie all the time.
And Hellboy, I can.
Oh yeah. That's great. That's a great. Yeah, well, that's a different kind of movie. Yeah.
I mean, outside of Pan's Labyrinth, I think Hellboy is my favorite movie that he's done. Probably for different reasons. But I generally think that is a great movie, the Hellboy that he did. And again, this is not a bad movie by any stretch. I wanted a little something different out of it. I wanted something, I don't want to say closer to Universal Monsters version of this because that's not the classic version of Frankenstein. Yeah. And just also I wanted something a little more out of the design of Frankenstein that I didn't quite get. He looked a little bit too.
I don't think he
didn't look built together from random pieces to me. He didn't look like he was a dead thing brought to life to me. I don't know. I didn't love the way it looked.
I think he didn't want it to be like this. Like I think he wanted to do his own thing. Like, he wanted this to be his version of Frankenstein. I think
But he went out there and said this is based on Bernie Wrightson's version of Frankenstein. So I expect Bernie Wrightson's version of Frankenstein.
No, yeah. That's
and when I didn't
get
that, that to me was I don't want to say it was a turnoff or anything like that. I was just like, I was expecting something based on what was presented to me before seeing the movie, and it didn't live up to that. And for me, look, it's fine. It doesn't look bad at all. It just doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like because it doesn't look like what I was told it was going to. And I'm a huge fan of Bernie Wrightson's work, so I was really excited to see that brought to life.
I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but I feel like this movie's a little bit more science fiction. Does that make sense? Where it's like more like, I think of like, this is the way like, I feel like when it gets more, like you said, the more like it's gonna be more grotesque. Then it's more like fantasy. This is more like I said, more science fiction-y. Where like I don't know. I felt it was just more grounded. The focus of this film wasn't that. The focus of this thing was relationships.
Right. Well, that's exactly
what it is.
Too.
So
that's a great way to.
I think if Universal Studios,
about.
If they try to, which I hope they do, actually, is revisit their dark universe. I know it failed. They tried doing it with the Tom Cruise movie of the mummy, blah blah blah, which was they gotta start fresh, and I think they can do it.
Well, they're bringing back Brendan Fraser.
Right.
So.
Okay. All right. Good.
I don't know if you heard.
I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah, they're bringing back another Brendan Fraser mummy movie, and
good.
Right. Good. Everyone loves those movies.
So I think PJ, for me, if I had to rate this out of 10, it's gonna be actually a pretty big gap. So I'm gonna range it from a 7.5 to an 8.5, and then it kind of gets the best of both worlds. Because I can understand why someone would give it a 7.5, and at the same time, I like I really like the ending and the spirit of it. So for me, it's in the 8.5, because everyone acts really well. Like I can't, in my heart, I can't give it a lower score than like a 7.5, but I get some of the criticisms that you brought up. That's why I give it a 7.5, but it falls between there. Hey, that's still a good movie. I still recommend watching it.
I would probably give this somewhere around a 6.5 to a 7. That's just how I feel about it. It's above average for sure.
Yep.
It's watchable. It's directed well. It's acted well. just pieces of it aren't what I was looking for.
Before we wrap up, PJ, I have one more thing to talk about, but because I'm really
Okay.
curious what you think, because I'm really perplexed about this. So, folks at home, PJ, I did not know. I knew Frankenstein was being made. I know that, duh.
Mhm.
But I did not realize, dude, I can't believe they didn't release this during the month of October.
What are we doing? What are we
And
doing?
then it just,
Why is
it was,
this not hitting Netflix on Halloween?
yes, or why is it even Netflix to begin with? They only put it out for a week. This should, I don't understand their logic. I don't understand, like, of course, like, you want to bring people to, I understand you want to bring subscribers there. I get all that, but here's a chance to put it on the thing. You know, you make it big, you put it on there for a month, you make a big deal of that. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then you give it a month, fine, you put it there, but you give it a chance. This movie to not be in theaters, I think, is a disservice to Del Toro. And
I think I would have
I
liked
can't,
it better if I watched it in a movie theater and not my house.
yeah, I can't
I agree
believe
with that.
I just don't understand the reasoning. But I want to exit the exact. I mean, you have this guy who won an Oscar. You know, you're not going to put it in the theaters more than 1 week, and it was the perfect time to do it. It was Halloween. You know,
So
so
I
just the
don't
month
know
of
this for a
October, because like
fact.
the movie was released on 11/7, right? The 7th.
Yeah.
So it's
It
past.
was only in there for a quick,
And there was I
quick
felt there was not
couple of
even
days. Yeah.
ever any marketing about it being in theaters. So it's like they almost just didn't want it. They didn't want no one to
So
see it in theaters.
I don't know if this is what happened, but I know in the past when they've done things like this, there's some sort of like for certain awards and to submit to certain things, if it doesn't have a theater release, it doesn't qualify for certain things.
Right.
And I think they realize that this movie is going to because look, it's not a bad movie. We've said a lot
Yeah.
of great things about it. It will probably be up for contention for certain awards, whether the big ones. I don't know if that means Oscars or I mean
Yeah.
some of the smaller ones that exist. Some of the more artsier ones even that are out there, BAFTAs and things,
Yeah.
right? But I think it needs a movie release for eligibility requirements. So they throw it out there for a week. I'm assuming Netflix who threw a bunch of money at the production company to have the rights to distribute it. And so
I know.
I
I
know
just
Netflix is if you're Netflix, I mean think about it this way, if you're Netflix and you spent some ridiculous $1 million, right? However many millions it is to get the rights to this so that people watch it on your platform and have to pay for it on your platform. Do you really want them to go to see it in AMC? Right? Because now they may not
right.
give you the $15 to sign up for a month for Netflix because you gave your $15 to see it once. That's got to be the reason it's not in there, and you just get that brief
Right.
release window
Mhm.
just for eligibility.
Right. I guess
And then that goes back to the age old question: is streaming killing movies?
I try to think to myself, let's just say James Cameron, he teams up with Netflix and he
Right.
releases Avatar 4.
Oh my god,
Everything
Amazon
is
400.
right. Yeah. PJ, would Amazon not put, Avatar 4 in theaters? And they could make $1 billion, but they'd rather just put it straight. Like, what would they do? Obviously, we know Frankenstein was going to make that kind of money, but, like, I don't know. But could they,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
James Cameron has to pay me to go see Avatar
Right,
first of all, but yeah,
right.
but I mean,
But that movie's gonna make
man,
a
I
lot of
hate those
money,
space cats.
but
That's gonna make so much money.
I don't know. It
Yeah,
just bothered me.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I feel like Frankenstein should be a big enough property that could get a successful movie release. I just think Netflix paid more for it, and then when Netflix pays more for it, they're not gonna let you throw it in a theater. And I am not someone who's in the industry, so I don't know how all this works. I don't understand how Netflix makes I already have Netflix,
Yeah.
right? I have it.
Mhm.
So now I've watched Frankenstein.
Yeah.
They got no money from me by me watching Frankenstein because
Mhm.
they were already getting my money. I don't understand how Netflix I don't know how any of that works. How does Netflix make money? Everyone already has Netflix. Who doesn't have Netflix? Everyone has it.
Yeah.
So now how do you make money to
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Uh,
I just do not understand
Yeah.
the business end on that.
Mhm.
I'm sure look, they wouldn't exist and they wouldn't be buying up all these properties and potentially trying to
Yeah.
buy Warner Brothers and all this other stuff if Netflix isn't making money. But I don't understand how it works because if I already have it, you're not making money on me for your new releases. I don't get that. And I wonder sometimes like this movie has really good production value
Yeah.
and high quality filmmaking. But sometimes you watch a Netflix original movie and you're like, well, this looks like it was shot on an iPhone. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And is it because they just don't have any money to pay these people to make a really good movie because they're not making? I don't know how it works, but is that the reason why half of these direct to Netflix movies look awful?
I don't know what to say, man. I'm speechless. I don't really know what to say. I think you need to make going to the theaters more affordable. You can't be $20 a tickets. I'm sorry. You could just get Netflix for that price. You have to drop it. And it
Right.
is what it is. and you need better films than just eclectic shit. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you
Variety.
can't just keep counting on superheroes to bring people into the
Yeah.
theaters.
And this is a
'Cause,
movie that
I
could have
mean
made a lot of money. You and I talk about isn't your goal to make money?
Oh, I do know that Netflix was trying I don't think it's gonna happen, but they were trying to buy Warner Brothers so
Yeah.
that they have a studio so that they can do movie theater releases. I don't know, I guess Netflix doesn't have a way to release things on the screen. I don't understand it either, I really don't. But I know they were looking to buy everyone's looking to buy Warner Brothers.
How is it even
You know,
possible? How is Warner Brothers up for sale? I feel like Universal's gonna
you would
buy them.
if Universal buys Warner Brothers, that is the o I mean, if I'm the people at Disney and I see Universal buy Warner Brothers, I'm just gonna shit my pants because that really is a way for them to overthrow that mouse.
Yeah, I mean,
Think about everything they
well, they
get
just
if you
yeah,
think about what
Disney
they
already
get.
has their own catalog. They bought Fox, you know what I mean? I think it would kinda almost even the score because
It really
it
would.
would even
It
them
would.
out because then they would inherit, obviously, all the DC stuff. They would inherit the, Harry Potter now
So much.
officially.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of crap. So, a lot to
I mean, there's a lot of Warner Brothers stuff, and Warner Brothers, you buy that, gives you a lot of TV stuff that people don't even think about. You get a lot of TV, I mean, you get Looney Tunes, and look, that say what you will, that's a huge thing to own
Yeah.
if you did. I mean, it really is. Warner Brothers out here farming shit out. Like, all right, Amazon's gonna get a Batman cartoon. I don't know if you know that.
Ne
Like, they have the one, they're getting a second one. They're getting a second Batman animated series on there. Like, Warner Brothers, what are you doing? You own Batman, you have a streaming service. What are you even doing? That's another
Yeah.
podcast on itself,
Mhm.
talking about the
This is
downfall of
Yep.
that company.
Well,
But
PJ, it's almost like a Frankenstein. People are creating they created a
creating their
monster.
own they sure did.
So, folks at home, thanks for listening. Same time, same table.
Have a good one.
Boys and girls, lunchtime is over. For more information, visit their website at coolkidslunchtable.podbean.com. Follow the boys on all social media platforms. Just search Cool Kids Lunch Table Podcast. Now get to class before you get detention.